Hey everyone, Amascut here with a podcast on the 2017 Christmas event, the G-Nome Project, and I am joined by Crondis.
Hello.
And just Crondis, because Avernic can't be here, and Lime can't be here,
Damn
and we don't
you!
have Walter in the chat because I don't know, we don't have Walter in the chat. Don't worry about it. Yeah, and as mentioned, we're going to be chit-chatting about the G-Nome Project, which is the 2017 Christmas event, created by, I believe, Mod Orion.
Yep.
And this event has you trying to find Santa and Rudolph, who are missing, and how Santa has been complaining about a lack of children in Gielinor, how they all suck. He's trying to make a perfect child.
I wonder where he thinks there's a lack of children in Gillinor.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of kids around. Like there's elf children, there's gnome.
By the way, before we start, if you haven't caught it, my playthrough of the Christmas quest is on the channel, so check that out.
Indeed, you can get his live reactions to everything. So, yeah. You are asked to hunt down Santa and Rudolph and also figure out what the hell's going on with this make the perfect child thing. This ties a little bit into that clockwork skilling thing we had earlier in the month. And, yeah, that's it.
Funnily enough, there was also a clockwork in the Halloween event thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
anyway, what'd you think of this holiday event quest thing?
It's not that great.
Yeah, that's about where I'm feeling on this. It's okay, I guess. The gameplay was fine. I mean, the puzzles aren't really up to par with what I have, still kind of expect from holiday events.
There were puzzles?
Even though
Did I miss something?
There's one puzzle, I guess.
Is there?
Yeah, the soul obelisk. That's sort of a puzzle.
Is that a puzzle or is that just a terrible mechanic?
It's totally a puzzle. You have to respond to stuff that's happening. It's a puzzle. Yeah. It's kind of a puzzle. It's the closest thing to a puzzle this quest has.
It's the closest thing this has. I still would not say by any means it's a puzzle, though.
But yeah, like I said, it doesn't really live up to the tier. I mean, honestly, I think a Towering Feast and the one that was the riff off of A Christmas Carol are the two best Christmas event puzzle. Oh, and A Little Town of Damonheim, of course. But I think the best set of puzzles we've ever had in a holiday event was still DEFCON 2.
I can agree. Yeah. Although that said, I did love Siska's Easter puzzle.
Oh yeah, that one had some really good ones too. I really liked the water measuring puzzle in that, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But when I come to a holiday event, I usually really expect a silly story that's, I mean, yeah, honestly, kind of tentatively canon. It's allowed to kind of exist outside of what you'd normally expect. And I expect some interesting puzzles and some festive theming.
Here's the thing. I don't expect holiday events to be, like, super canon, oh my god, it's actual story. But it does need to make sense.
It needs to make sense. It needs to not, intentionally tread on actual lore. And it just needs to be interesting. And for me, this event didn't hit a lot of those points.
Yeah.
The puzzles were at best click this thing. The story was super weird and felt more like a cameo showcase of some characters than anything else.
Yeah, like I said at the end of my playthrough, it felt like it was put together as, oh, look at these people you remember. Remember them? It's funny, because you know them, remember?
Yeah, I remember, definitely.
Yeah.
That really disappointed me.
Even though we apparently don't know who Thurgo is in this, so...
That was the thing that really, really drove me mad. Like, the rest of this quest had a lot of things that made me going, huh? What? Huh? But that made no sense. If
Like,
a player hadn't met Thurgo, it wouldn't matter because meeting Thurgo is 5th age.
yeah, like I can think of 3 times minimal we interact with Thurgo.
Mm-hmm. The Knight's
There's,
Sword, Defender of Varrock, and buying a smithing cape.
yeah.
And anything else? Is he a knight? Oh, and the giant dwarf. That's right.
Oh yeah, he wasn't Giant Dwarf.
So 4. There's 4 times. And also, if you need to make your royal crossbow, or you need a gilded dragon pickaxe to turn it into an incamdo pickaxe, and that's it.
Yeah, but there's no reason we shouldn't have known who he was.
And even if we didn't, like, even if the player did not know who he was, again, the Knight's Sword and Defender of Varrock and the Giant Dwarf are all 5th age quests, which means our player has met Thurgo.
Yeah.
No matter what. So that drove me bonkers. I know it's teeny tiny, and anybody watching this is going to be like, really? That's the thing that pissed you off? But it's like it's just like our last review of stuff where it was like the little details are just getting ignored, and it's those little things that make this feel out of place to me.
Yeah, I think Avernic said it pretty well last time, where it's like, it doesn't make sense for you to have done it this way when there was another way that was just as easy, if not easier.
Yeah, we wouldn't
That
have
would
even
have
had to
that would have made
tie
much more
something
sense.
in with a red berry pie. Yeah.
Like, I'm
So
perfectly fine with using Thurgo, and haha, we
yeah,
get the joke of the red berry pie again. We get it. He's an addict, but it made no sense.
making him like request one or something, or say that Santa spoke to him and promised him a pie, but then never came back. So if you bring him a pie, then he'll talk to you. Like that would have been the way to do it. There goes Grumpy. So like, yeah, he doesn't get his pie. Yeah, he's gonna be pissy. I could totally understand going that route, but instead, no.
Yeah,
The other thing I really dislike about this quest is turning a clockwork gnome into a real gnome. Hey, let's break some lore, guys.
yeah. I
And
was
then,
I was fine at the very least with like giving it sentience. Like, I thought that was the end game at the end of all this. But we turned him into an actual gnome.
mhm.
Like an actual living gnome with skin and blood and organs and what?
And then, of course, the best part too is that the way to do it was to take all 3 of the ideas these random NPCs had and do them all at the same time, and that did the trick.
Yeah. Speaking of those random NPCs, we get Aubrey, Doc, and Orla.
Doc, sure. He's invention, so you could invent something.
Doc, I could at very at
Orla, I
least
think,
see with smithing and invention, like, oh, it's a clockwork. Okay, that's fine.
I would say Orla makes the most sense of the 3, since she is the divination master, and divination involves, the shattering of god energy.
Yeah. They kind of just threw in some dialogue with Doc, like, oh, well, I think some magic is needed. I feel like that was in there just for the sole purpose of having a third one, so they could put in Aubrey.
And I liked Doc's dialogue here. He goes, I told him about the old dwarven golems that were infused with magic. Most dwarves haven't used magic in an age, except in Camdo dwarves, that is. And that was like a decent way to push the player to Thurgo. I did like that. Like he felt like he was best tied in terms of the dialogue. It really seemed weird with Aubrey, like, why did Santa come to you? And it's like, he needed my wizard wisdom. I sent him to a smith.
Yeah.
And then Orla was like, yeah, we study anima, memories, balance, and life force. He wanted to know to put the anima into the inanimate. 1, that was a funny pun. And 2, like, yeah, she makes the most sense of the NPCs to go to. And I had no problems with her inclusion. Well, until we get to her plan, anyway.
Yeah. Let's say.
Her general inclusion. Like, hey, we put her in, perfect, great choice. But, so we go to Thurgo, and then we go down to the
Oh no!
QBD.
I want to hit a point here with Thurgo's dialogue
Oh, yeah, go down.
where he says, "I told him to go try to bring it to life by putting it in front of the QBD's flames."
I believe he says
And
the
that,
Black Dragon Queen's flame breath, of course.
yeah. And that it works with the royal
No,
crossbow.
but it
Are
doesn't bring a
you
royal
are you
crossbow to
bringing the
life.
royal crossbow to life? No.
I was going to say the only way the royal crossbow talks to you is if you put that perk in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was just like, unless he's trying to forge his clockwork gnome more, it makes no sense.
Like, I saw that dialogue and I was just
I was kind of floored.
Yeah, I was like, this, you're not bringing the royal crossbow to life. That doesn't make sense.
Apparently, there's actually dialogue if you go back to the Queen of Snow, and she makes the same comment you just did, basically. You go, Thurgo told Santa he could brandish the clockwork gnome in front of the Queen Black Dragon's incredibly hot flame breath. She goes, what? Is he absolutely insane? So, really, I think it's just Thurgo's an idiot.
Yeah. And so is Santa, apparently.
Yeah, well, Santa didn't know any better. It's Santa. Clearly, he's not the smartest.
Also, through this whole time, I'm just like, what is your end game here, dude? Like,
Yeah.
what is the point of bringing this thing to life that you would actually go and risk your life in front of the QBD? Like,
Because he
really?
wants to make a real boy. Like, nothing about this. I was told this was inspired by Pinocchio.
Oh, it was absolutely
this,
inspired by Pinocchio.
but nothing about it felt like it was inspired by
Which
Pinocchio.
might explain why I don't like it, because I don't like Pinocchio.
I do like Pinocchio, but the fun thing about Pinocchio is the not real boy really, really desperate to become one and trying to learn how to be a real boy and what he needs to do to become one. Instead, we get Santa desperately going around trying to make this gnome a real boy, and the gnome being kind of ambivalent towards the whole process until the very end.
Yeah.
Our Pinocchio doesn't seem to give a shit. And then, Rudolph fucking dies. I mean, one of the best puns in this quest is from the Examine on Rudolph's ashes, though. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
What was it? It's Rudolph the,
It was like the Cindered or something?
Sin Deer or something like
Sin
that.
Deer, yeah.
I got this. Come on, it's somewhere here. But yeah, like, that whole section just felt ridiculously out of place.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the whole real purpose of that.
And then we go to the QBD, and she swallows us up, and we're back inside her stomach from Song from the Depths.
Yay, because we can just stroll in there.
Yeah, and it's just super easy to break Santa out in a cutscene.
Yep.
Glad to know it was that easy in Song from the Depths.
I was gonna say, I'm sure she was super happy that we had a much easier time this time.
And so then, Santa gets the bright idea of... Oh wait, no. The Phoenix is later.
Yep.
We go through the three steps first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we sit there and we do the whole Doc and Orla and Aubrey little events, giving them random items. I thought a while ago they said they were gonna stop doing this, like, here, buy these random items off the GE. But they did it again.
At the very least, since this one was at the GE, I can kind of forgive it.
And the problem was players would just buy all of them and then jack up the price.
That's true. But it's kind of hard to buy all of the Rune Essence, so...
Yeah, but they did a great job with the lobsters.
Pale energy.
Oh, here it is. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Stain, dear. That was pretty funny. I really enjoyed that. To be totally honest, that was hilarious.
Yeah. So Aubrey's is just a giant portal that does something. I'm not particularly sure what happens here, but the portal has anomalies, is what he calls it, and you stop the anomalies and then
Um,
try to bring it to the
I mean,
clockwork to life. I don't get what was happening here.
yeah, I don't either. Honestly, it just felt more like a Tinder pickup line. Hey, can you stabilize my rift for me? Watch out, there might be
Oh,
anomalies.
oh.
Like, it was bad.
Mm.
And then, of course, you had to answer questions. You know, anomalies are bad. I
Oh
can
yeah,
seal anomalies
that
with
was
channeling
actually
the
a bit
rift.
more of the puzzle than the Orla scene.
Yeah. I think the funniest part about this, too, is, like, just on the lore Q&A yesterday, they were talking about how, like, you know, we can't ask a quiz before every quest. But they can do it in the middle of one just fine.
Yeah, but
Docs was even worse. It wasn't even a puzzle.
well, Docs wasn't a puzzle, and then it was like, oh, wait for the
Hand him energy, click it to hit 100, and then click another panel and you're
well,
done.
and then click it again, wait for it to smoke, and then click a panel you were never instructed to click,
Oh,
and
he told you to click it, but it just never had an option before then.
I don't know. That was weird. Like I sat there, and it went to smoking, and I was like mousing around, like, what am I supposed to do?
I knew what I needed to click because you could examine that control panel but not click on it yet.
uh,
So like it wasn't that crazy, at least to me. But Orla's is the one that's like, what?
but
Like,
okay, but
go meet a
before we move over
metaphite
to Orla,
smuggler.
what was Doc's machine? What did it do?
Just an invention machine that shocked things, I guess.
Like it had water coming out of it, and something was
It had
something.
steam or smoke and water or snow or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it just shocked you.
Yeah, yeah. Doc thinks that by blasting the clockwork gnome with a lot of power. So it's literally like slamming him with electricity.
I
I
did
don't
find
know.
it slightly funny that we had to be the test subject for it first.
Yeah, that was so odd to me. Like, what? Why? We could die. That gnome is just clockwork, man.
Yeah.
That was just weird.
Yeah. So then we move on to Orla.
Oh, Orla. The best character by choice with the weirdest story piece.
So instead of, using Menaphos, like it would have made much more sense to do, we go to
Mm-hmm.
Alcarid, find a random guy with a soul obelisk, and give him lobsters for it. Oh, and apparently lobsters are uh, a delicacy in Menaphos. A town with a grand exchange.
I mean, I'm fine with that. That didn't really bother me. There isn't a lobster fishing spot in Manifest, so like, sure, fine, whatever, that's fine.
I just saw that and I was like, is that a thing? Was that ever said?
Yeah, like I said, I really didn't mind that. Like, out of everything, that was the one
No,
that
I mean
bothered me the least.
it doesn't bother me just a huge amount. I just thought it was really an odd inclusion.
Yeah, I agree. Like, sure, cool, yeah. I mean, they've been kind of awkwardly canonizing the GE, which I'm fine with. I appreciate learning the mechanics, but Manifest does have one, so it's not like they can't just buy it.
Yeah.
But sure, yeah. I mean that wasn't the thing that took me out. It was the fact that the dude goes, "Okay, thanks for 12 whole lobsters. Here's an entire soul obelisk. Good luck. How did you get the soul obelisk? How is it partially deactivated? What the fuck?"
Yeah. I saw I was like, wait, there's no way this was always here.
Well, I mean, we see it teleport in during the quest, and then it just
Uh
casually teleports away for us.
we didn't see it teleport in, did we?
Pretty sure.
No, I think you run up to the guy and he's already there with it.
Oh, okay, maybe. I don't quite remember. We'll have
Yeah.
to check back on your recording. But like, what? How did you deactivate that?
Yeah, Orla says that
What?
it only works when it's being like stimulated.
Oh
Okay, well
baby,
how did you do
Tinder
that?
part two.
Yeah, exactly. How did you do that? Because that's not how the soul obelisks have ever worked.
I mean, it sort of works, but you offer death to it, like bones or your soul.
Or your soul, yeah. Like in Menaphos it just appears and it starts like sucking people's souls out.
So
So,
I did not. Oof, that was weird.
yeah.
And I don't even mind like the idea of using a soul altar for or soul obelisk for other things. That's okay. But just casually teleporting one to the Grand Exchange? Have you seen how the Metaphytes react to those things? How did the guy get one? What? Oh, oh, ugh, so
So
messy.
so then we get there and we do the quote unquote puzzle bit of it, where it's the most unresponsive clicking dial thing that we've had since fucking lava surfing.
I actually had no problems with the button. It was super
No,
responsive.
it was not responsive at all to me. Like I would click it
Ouch.
and then nothing would happen, so I'd click it a few more times and then whoop all the way around.
Oh my god. No, lava surfing was bad for me, but that one was fine. It functioned just like the bucking bowl from the whatever event.
And then like the buttons had a really tiny like click area on it, so I
Yeah,
was like
I
a
actually
couple pixels over and I ended up like walking across the Grand Exchange.
yeah, I accidentally what was it like clicked out at 98%, but luckily
It doesn't
when
reset.
you hopped back in it didn't reset. I was certain it was going to reset and I'm going to be like, "Oh my god," but then it didn't and I was really
Yeah,
grateful.
I was like, this is gonna reset on me, isn't it?
Like, not to sound like a dick, but I generally don't have faith in that kind of thing.
No, not at all. Especially because there have been mechanics before that just straight reset if you accidentally click away.
Yep. But like that was really the only puzzle element of this quest. Because after you do that, and then you go watch a cutscene with Rudolph's ashes at the Phoenix, because the Tower of Life isn't the place we should go; it's the Phoenix. And then,
Yeah, the Phoenix that suddenly has the power to bring people back from their ashes.
since the Phoenix has that special power because it's a Phoenix. So yeah, that was a little off-putting.
Also, the
Um,
Phoenix just kept referring to itself in the third person and it kept pissing me off.
doesn't it do that normally though?
I don't seem to remember it doing that in the quest, but I could be wrong.
I'll find out. Keep talking.
Yeah, so she resurrects Rudolph. He now has flame wings, which you find impressive. And then we get the idea to have her try to do something with the clockwork, and like everything else, it fails.
Oh, quick question: did all the Phoenix dialogue have parentheses around it?
No.
Oh, because that's how the Phoenix talks. Does not talk in third person and has uh, parentheses around all of its dialogue because our character is translating.
No, that's not how that works. She was just straight talking.
Yeah, so they fucked that up too.
Yeah.
See, this is just another example of those little details where it's like, and not even to sound like nasty towards Orion because I've loved most of the stuff Orion has done in the past, and I hesitate to use the word lazy because I know a lot of effort goes into this stuff, but it
Ill-researched is
feels
what I
it
would say
feels
more to.
poorly researched and it feels like the character was chosen because it was related to ashes, but then nobody went in and was like, oh, so how does this work? What is its dialogue like? It's not like there's a lot of dialogue to come through for the Phoenix. It's not a very used character.
Yeah. Even though I wish it was.
Yeah, I think it's a cool one, but it's not a character that is regularly brought up in the game. So I don't understand why just going to the RuneScape wiki and checking the dialogue page for the Phoenix, like I just did, was so difficult during development to make sure that things were consistent. Because consistency is fairly important, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
This kind of
Yeah,
goes back to the point of I don't expect holiday events to be super canon, but they do need to be consistent and make sense.
yeah, just like try and make sure it fits into the general canon, because like it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I played the event once on one account, and I noticed all of this stuff during my first playthrough. And yes, like we're kind of the exception when it comes to like attention to detail for content. I do acknowledge and completely understand that. And I'm not like angry about this stuff either. I'm just passionate. So it's the little stuff where it just throws me off because I kind of expect better from Jagex because they generally have a very good track record about this stuff. But I also just want to see the devs, put in that little bit of extra effort that's needed.
Yeah.
That's really the best way I can put
By
that.
chance, do you know if Orion made this in
Made this on his own?
or in the month and a half he had between holiday and the release of
Oh,
this?
I honestly have no idea what the time frame was for it. We could always ask him.
I guess.
So yeah, like please don't take this as like us being angry or shit talking if you happen to listen to this, Orion. I'm disappointed is really the
Yeah.
best thing I can say. And I know this event certainly was not poorly received, but I'm a lore hound.
Which
Beyond.
almost makes it worse.
Well, see, it's just like Beneath Cursed Tides and
Evil Dave.
Yeah, Dave, where it's just like the general player base doesn't care about these things, and so the devs hear the stuff is good, and then that's it.
And we
So
get more of
it leaves me in a really awkward bind where I'm like, yeah, but like there's a lot of problems here, and I'd like to talk about them, and everybody goes, don't care, moving on. It's kind of disappointing at times.
Yeah.
Just because I really do expect better. And I think just adding that little bit of extra consistency definitely wouldn't hurt anybody and would help make, all of this stuff just feel more like it's a part of the game.
Yep. So to wrap up the event, we do Thurgo, Orla, or not Thurgo, Aubrey, Orla, and Doc's stuff all at once, and it turns the gnome into a gnome.
Into a real boy who has the most terrifying smile I've ever seen in my life.
I quite like the gnome model, but
Yeah, the gnome model was fine, and it makes me really hope that we are getting a gnome quest this year.
yeah, it's just
But
like,
oh my god,
why
the
did this
smile
happen?
on his face.
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck.
That shit is scary. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of this event. I felt like it didn't get the details it needed. It needed to be better.
It just, in general,
But
didn't make much sense, and I just went through it constantly going,
yeah,
what?
it had more problems than I was okay with, and they were all like these really small problems that just added up to things that kind of bugged me. So yeah. I don't really have much more to say about this event, though. No complaints about the rewards, really. The pet's cute.
Yeah, I was
The snowboard's a snowboard. That's
as
fine.
the pet, because I saw that and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be a cool pet. And then they teleport us back to the Grand Exchange, and I see someone with it. I'm like, oh, guess it is
Thank
getting
God.
a pet.
Yeah, it's a cute pet. I have no complaints about the pet. The snowboard is a snowboard. I have no complaints about the snowboards. I think they're fine. The XP from the activities afterwards is pretty good for low levels, from my understanding. So cool, good for them.
Yeah, I hear it's pretty good AFK training.
No complaints there. It's nice. It's nice from a holiday event. So I have no complaints about the aftermath of all this stuff.
Yeah, although it does kind of like worry me that this was like the quest bit was just like, here's a playthrough of the skilling before you get to do it.
And we've had that a couple times in the past. The Shantar Claws event did the same thing. It was literally just, hey, so all those events you're gonna have to do, literally just go do them, and that's the whole event.
Yeah.
So this at least had some more story to it, like cool. But I really do hope for more interesting puzzle content from these events. I don't need anything like crazy over the top complex, but even the Slisky and the Chocolate Factory, really good recent example. Ghost Stories of Gillinor had some really good ones in there. Um, that's what I come to holiday events for.
Speaking of
Not too
ghost,
tricky puzzle
speaking
and
of
some
ghost
silly
stories, let's
stuff.
get to the point that this quest was contemplated about staying, and Ghost
Oh
Stories
yeah,
wasn't, even though Ghost Stories is by far a better event.
yeah, they were talking about doing, I think, just a poll for this one as well. And they were going to add like a new area to the Land of Snow so you could reaccess this stuff. For one, I don't understand what they would be adding to the Land of Snow, like those NPCs, so we can talk to them again.
I assume just the NPCs. I mean, everything else is instance, so
Yeah, I'm not like I understand what would stay. Those training methods have some longevity to them, I suppose. Because if you do the clicking activities during them, you get some extra XP. That's fine, but hmm,
yeah.
the quest itself didn't feel canon enough to even be considered to stay. Ghost Stories was fully canon, and the story actually expanded some knowledge
The
of
stories were
death.
actually really good.
Yeah, stories were great. We still really need to get those interviews done for those players. That's something I'm still really interested in doing. But yeah, it's
I
very
was
strange to
thinking,
know.
I was thinking about a way to fix the story of this, and I would have
Yeah,
actually almost liked it if it was kind of following up on the Jack event from a few years ago, where it was
the
Santa
one where we
was the one where Jack was trying to kill Santa, I think
yeah yeah
is what the event was. I think it would have been better if Santa was like, "Yeah, I kind of just want a better son."
yeah instead of all
Instead
the
of,
kids
"Oh,
in Gillinor suck.
there's not enough kids and they're all shit." Okay.
Hmm.
So I think it would have been better to have it as like his personal life kind of thing. I
I
don't know.
totally agree. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
So I think that on its own would have been a better start to the story. Santa doesn't like his son because his son is murderous and kind of evil. So he wants a better one, and
He
I
hates his son
guess
because his son is an angsty teen.
yeah, and I guess they don't sell Viagra on the Grand Exchange. Just saying. So I mean, I think that would have been a better place to come from, and then that would have kind of made Santa, being so desperate to make a real boy way more interesting. I still don't like that we actually succeeded,
Yeah, me neither.
but here we are.
Or I'm less not excited about it succeeding and more like I just don't like the way it was done.
Yeah, I mean that too. I don't think it succeeding made a lot of sense to me. If we had taken like a clockwork gnome and infused it with some spirits, and then like it still inhabited the clockwork body, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But we made skin out of electricity, soul, and
A
a
portal.
rift. Um, and the Tower of Life never got brought up.
I think the Tower of Life is one of those things that they're like intentionally avoiding like the
Oh
plague.
yeah, and again, I have no problems with the Tower of Life like actually being ignored. Terrible Quest needs a rework. Doesn't make any sense in the current lore, and they agree. I know they agree, but like this whole event was about bringing something to life, and we do that in a different quest. Like if that quest ever has to get acknowledged, this was the place to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I just didn't like the end goal of the whole event. I would have much rather a different style, inspired by Pinocchio thing that didn't feel so much like a cameo quest and felt more like a Christmas event with some puzzles and some silliness and maybe some feels like the Easter event had.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty disappointed with this event overall. Really don't understand how it would have been made permanent either. And just kind of sad because in a year I've found pretty lackluster so far, our last major update of the year is also pretty lackluster.
Just another thing on the list.
Especially after being disappointed by one of the genuinely good releases this year not even getting to stay in the game.
Yep. Can this
So-
year just be over with? I'm ready to get on with it.
Are they going to reveal, like, Nomad is a, Hollywood molester next or something? Like, Jesus. Because, I mean, look at him. It wouldn't shock me.
The 2017 quest none of us wanted.
Oh, Nomad's agent.
Oh.
All right, yeah, bad time for that joke. Sorry, but
Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah, that's where I am. A little dark, yeah. Sorry.
That's been the G-Nome Project.
Yep. Thanks for listening. If you were offended by anything I said today, let me know.
Care.
I might care. We'll see. And look out for our year-end review coming up at some point in time. We're going to be putting together a list of the best and the worst updates this year. We're going to talk about them, and you're hopefully going to enjoy that. Not making any promises on other content because we all have busy lives and it is the holiday season, but if we can get some stuff out other than that, we absolutely will. If you have any ideas or thoughts on other things we need to talk about, please let us know. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. And, as always, thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.